Quick reminder, the number one reason men worry about going to prison, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, is the number one reason that women worry about going on dates. And if you're watching this right now and thinking, not all men, yeah, true. Not all prisoners either. Does that alleviate your fear of prison any? And you might think, and you would be right, that these numbers are not comparable. It's true, the reported numbers are higher for women outside of prison than men inside of prison. And if you think, yeah, but underreporting those types of things in prison, that happens. Yep, true for women outside of prison. A lot more too, probably. During my life, I've had two different friends of mine facing prison time who ended themselves to avoid it, and in one's note, cited that specifically as a reason for why, namely citing what it's like to be a woman outside of prison for why. So, if you're a man, whenever discussing this issue with a woman, just put yourself in that context, prison, so that you can better understand the context from which she's speaking to you. And then things like not all men and all the other platitudes you throw out there become pretty worthless without actions to back them up. Just food for thought.
And he's not wrong. Many men will not choose to not understand women until they're placed in a predicament. So, if you guys don't know, earlier this year, I think last year, last year, I think. Anyways, we had a whole, us ladies had discussion of bear versus men, like who we choose. We chose bear, and many men was criticizing us because we decided to choose the bear over them, and our reasoning was because, well, at least when something happens to its bear, it's because, I mean, not because, you know that one thing is going to happen, that's it, just be eaten. Whereas with the man, it's terrifying thought. Did you even know with ambulance body that the ladies, the woman who I think helped her get dressed, I forgot, the maids took care of her body because they were scared what the men would do to her body. Even a corpse is not safe from men. And the reason I'm making this video is because, ladies, we need to be aware, especially as exoticals. Many men, especially men who say, oh, not all men, or not all this and that, or who try to make excuses for other men's behavior, just know they choose to. They know why you're scared. They just choose not to understand until they're in that predicament. And their predicament is them in prison or in jail. And like the guy said, that when they're in jail or when they're in prison, they get scared because of what potentially can happen to them. Not all men does that in jail or prison, but we know a good handful and we know the stories behind it. And when men do understand, like for example, when they finally understood why we chose a bear over a man, was because the whole Diddy case. And even when they did understood, they even keep joking about it. They even go as far as to be like, oh, we finally understand, started making jokes about the whole Diddy case. And also to let you along with this, they don't even take men cases seriously. When men come on and say, hey, this happened to me, especially in jail, prison, or even like in the civilian life, they would try to be like, oh, how come you didn't fight him off, or how come you didn't do this and the other, when reality, what's I call it, they don't really care. I mean, look at it. Look how they did to Terry Crews. They invalidated Terry Crews' story and say, oh, well, you're big, tall, and strong. How come you didn't do it? You know what I'm saying here? And there's a movie out there. for all the, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me look it up real quick. Found the film is a 1972 film called Deliverance, and basically one that is very traumatizing. I would not recommend watching it only because if you can't, it, if you guys don't know, in the 70s they show everything, including scenes where it's on consent actions, if that makes sense. Um, and the guy in the film, the actor, he played the guy who played the one that had gotten, he went to therapy. Like it traumatized him. And it's sad how they normalize this, especially in Hollywood movies and on TV shows, especially written by men, where they put unnecessarily, especially showing the scenes, because many men try to be like, oh, it's realistic. It is disgusting and traumatizing, and it shows their thinking. Anyways, I'm going to end this video with this. Let me know about what's I call it, about how you feel about all of this, and yeah. Anyways, bye. Love you. All is Exotical Barbies.